The Three Foolish Princesses, a long tale of growth and wisdom. Once upon a time, in a grand and prosperous kingdom, there lived a wise and noble king named Cedric. King Cedric had 3 daughters, each as beautiful as the sunlit dawn, but each also as foolish as the wind. Though they lived in the lap of luxury and were adored by the people for their beauty, the king often worried about their future. He knew that beauty could not rule a kingdom. Wisdom, courage, and compassion were needed for a just reign. The eldest princess was named Eliza. She was tall and graceful, with long, golden hair that shimmered in the sunlight. Eliza's beauty was legendary, and she took great pride in it. She would spend hours in front of the mirror, arranging her hair, selecting her gowns, and perfecting her appearance. To her, nothing was more important than being the most beautiful woman in the kingdom. The middle princess, Isla, was equally stunning, with raven-black hair and eyes as deep as the night sky. Isla was not as vain as her sister, but she was known for her love of luxury. She adored fine food, extravagant feasts, and all the pleasures of life. Isla believed that happiness came from indulgence, and she was constantly seeking new ways to satisfy her cravings. The youngest princess, Lila, was kind-hearted and gentle. She had bright, curious eyes and a playful spirit. But Lila was easily distracted and prone to daydreaming. Her head was often in the clouds, and she struggled to focus on anything important. While she was kind to everyone, Lila lacked the discipline and attention required to take on the responsibilities of a ruler. King Cedric loved his daughters deeply, but he knew that they were not yet ready to rule. So, he devised a plan to teach them a lesson, hoping they would grow wiser with experience. One day, he summoned the 3 princesses to his grand throne room, where he sat with a heavy heart but a hopeful spirit. "My dear daughters," King Cedric began, "you are each beautiful and beloved, but beauty alone cannot rule a kingdom. I fear that you have not yet learned the lessons of wisdom, compassion, and responsibility. So I have a task for each of you. I want you to go out into the kingdom and bring back something that will bring happiness to all the people of the palace." The 3 princesses exchanged puzzled glances. They each thought the task would be simple. After all, they were princesses. How hard could it be to make people happy? The king continued, "You must return within 3 days, and the gift you bring must be something that can make everyone in the palace feel joy. Go now, and return to me when you have succeeded." Excited and eager to prove themselves, the 3 princesses set off on their journeys. Each believed that they knew exactly what would bring the most joy to the palace. Princess Eliza and the Quest for Beauty. Eliza, the eldest, was certain that beauty was the key to happiness. She had always believed that if people looked beautiful, they would feel happy. So, she went to the finest jeweler in the kingdom, a man renowned for crafting the most exquisite pieces of jewelry anyone had ever seen. "Make me the most dazzling collection of jewels that anyone has ever laid eyes on," Eliza commanded. "I want diamonds that sparkle like stars, sapphires as blue as the ocean, and rubies as red as the setting sun." The jeweler worked tirelessly to create a masterpiece, and soon enough, Eliza had in her possession a collection of jewels that would make even the wealthiest noble gasp in awe. Confident that she had found the perfect gift to bring happiness to the palace, she returned home with the treasure. When Eliza arrived at the palace, she called all the courtiers, servants, and noblemen to the grand hall. She presented the jewels with great pride, certain that they would bring joy to everyone who saw them. At first, the crowd marveled at the glittering jewels. The diamonds sparkled in the light, and the colorful gems dazzled the eyes. But soon, the admiration turned to envy. People began to whisper among themselves, comparing their own modest jewelry to the riches before them. Some argued over who should receive the jewels, while others complained that they were not valuable enough for someone of their status. What had started as a celebration quickly descended into greed and jealousy. Instead of bringing happiness, Eliza's jewels had caused strife and division. The once joyful palace was now filled with tension and bitterness. Eliza stood to the side, stunned. She couldn't understand how something as beautiful as jewels could cause such discord. Disheartened, Eliza returned to her father and confessed, "Father, I thought that beauty would bring happiness, but I was wrong. The jewels only caused envy and greed." King Cedric nodded wisely. "My dear Eliza, beauty is fleeting, and material wealth can often divide people more than unite them. True happiness does not come from what we see or own. Go now and reflect on this lesson." Princess Isla and the Feast of Indulgence. The middle princess, Isla, believed that happiness could be found in indulgence. She had always found joy in fine food and drink, so she set out to gather the most lavish feast the kingdom had ever seen. She visited the finest chefs and bakers in the land, ordering an abundance of delicacies, roasted meats, delicate pastries, exotic fruits, and the richest wines. When the feast was ready, Isla returned to the palace, confident that her gift would bring joy to everyone. She called all the people of the palace to the banquet hall, where long tables groaned under the weight of the food she had prepared. At first, everyone was delighted. The aroma of roasted meats filled the air, and the tables overflowed with delicious dishes. The courtiers and servants eagerly dug in, savoring every bite. Laughter filled the room as they indulged in the feast, and for a moment, Isla was certain she had succeeded. But as the night wore on, the mood began to change. People ate too much and drank too much, growing sluggish and uncomfortable. Their bellies were full, but their spirits were low. Soon, complaints filled the air. "I feel sick, I shouldn't have eaten so much, I'm too full to enjoy anything else." What had started as a joyful feast turned into a night of excess and discomfort. Instead of bringing lasting happiness, Isla's indulgence had led to overconsumption and regret. Isla returned to her father, crestfallen. "Father, I thought that indulgence would bring happiness, but I was wrong. The feast only brought discomfort." King Cedric nodded once again. "My dear Isla, too much of a good thing can often lead to misery. Happiness cannot be found in endless indulgence. It must be balanced with wisdom and restraint. Go now and reflect on this lesson." Princess Lila and the Gift of Laughter. The youngest princess, Lila, wandered the kingdom in search of something that would bring true joy to the people of the palace. Unlike her sisters, she wasn't interested in jewels or feasts. But she was unsure of what could bring happiness to everyone. Lila spent hours walking through the villages, daydreaming and wondering what she could bring back. One afternoon, as she sat by a well, lost in thought, an old woman approached her. The woman had a kind face, wrinkled with age, and eyes that sparkled with wisdom. "What troubles you, my child?" the old woman asked. Lila sighed. "My father has given me a task to bring something back to the palace that will make everyone happy, but I don't know what to choose. My sisters have already returned with jewels and feasts, but neither has succeeded." The old woman smiled gently. "Happiness does not come from wealth or indulgence. It comes from something much simpler, laughter." Lila was puzzled. "Laughter?" The old woman nodded. "Laughter is the greatest gift you can give. It lightens the heart and brings people together. Go back to your palace, and bring them laughter." Lila thought about the woman's words and realized that laughter truly was a powerful thing. She thanked the old woman and hurried back to the palace, determined to try this simple idea. When Lila arrived, her sisters were waiting, their filled gifts of jewels and feast weighing on their minds. They watched curiously as Lila entered the grand hall with nothing but a twinkle in her eye. Gathering the people of the palace, Lila began to tell a story. It was a funny tale about a clumsy jester and a mischievous goose, full of silly twists and turns. At first, the crowd was unsure what to make of it. But as the story went on, small chuckles turned into full laughter. Soon, the entire hall was filled with the sound of joy. People doubled over with laughter, their hearts light and their spirits lifted. The tension from Eliza's jewels and the discomfort from Isla's feast melted away. The palace was once again a place of happiness, all because of the simple gift of laughter. When Lila finished her story, she returned to her father. "Father," she said, "I have nothing grand to offer, but I have brought them laughter, and it made them happy." King Cedric smiled, his heart full of pride. "My dear Lila, you have found the true key to happiness. It is not found in riches or excess, but in the simple moments of joy that bring people together." The three princesses stood before their father, each having learned a valuable lesson. Eliza had learned that beauty and wealth cannot bring lasting happiness. Isla had learned indulgence and excess lead only to temporary pleasure and eventual discomfort. And Lila had discovered that the simplest things, like laughter, could create lasting joy and harmony. Each of the princesses had grown wiser from their experiences, and King Cedric knew that his daughters were finally on the path to becoming thoughtful and capable rulers. King Cedric addressed his daughters one last time. "My dear Eliza, Isla, and Lila, you have each learned that true happiness is not found in the things that glitter or in the pleasures of the table. It is found in the moments that bring people together, that fill the heart with joy, and that foster love and kindness. As future queens, you must remember that your duty is not only to lead with wisdom but also to care for the happiness and well-being of your people." The three princesses listened attentively, humbled by their father's words. They had grown much since their foolish days, and they knew now that ruling a kingdom required more than beauty, wealth, or indulgence. They thanked their father for his wisdom and promised to always keep the lessons they had learned in their hearts. Over time, the kingdom flourished under the wise guidance of the three princesses. King Cedric began to entrust them with more responsibilities, confident that they were ready to take on the tasks of leadership. Each princess found her unique way to contribute to the prosperity of the kingdom. Princess Eliza, the princess of generosity. Eliza, who had once been obsessed with her own beauty, turned her attention to the beauty of her kingdom. She used her eye for aesthetics to create public spaces that were both functional and beautiful. She designed gardens where people could gather and relax, marketplaces that encouraged trade and community, and schools where young minds could learn and grow. Eliza also realized that her wealth could be used for good. Instead of spending her time and money on lavish gowns and jewels, she began donating to causes that helped the people of the kingdom. She funded hospitals, orphanages, and libraries, ensuring that everyone had access to education and healthcare. Her generosity and vision transformed the kingdom, and the people came to know her not just for her beauty, but for her kind and giving heart. Whenever Eliza walked through the streets, she was greeted with smiles and gratitude. The people loved her for the way she had improved their lives, and they admired her wisdom in using her resources to benefit all. She became known as the Princess of Generosity, and her legacy of kindness and care spread far and wide. The Princess of Balance. Isla, who had once indulged in every pleasure without restraint, learned the importance of balance. She realized that while indulgence could be enjoyable in moderation, excess led only to discomfort. With this newfound understanding, Isla set out to promote healthy living throughout the kingdom. She worked with the royal chefs to create balanced, nutritious meals that were still delicious but didn't overwhelm the senses or the stomach. She encouraged the people to enjoy the pleasures of food and drink without overindulging, and she led by example, practicing moderation in her own life. Isla also established a series of festivals and celebrations where the people could come together to enjoy good food, music, and dancing, but in a way that emphasized balance and community rather than excess. These gatherings became known for their joy and camaraderie, and the people of the kingdom learned that true happiness came not from overindulgence, but from enjoying life's pleasures in moderation. Isla earned the title Princess of Balance, and her wisdom in guiding her people toward healthier, more fulfilling lives was celebrated throughout the land. Princess Laila, the Princess of Joy. Laila, the youngest and once the most distracted of the three, fully embraced the lesson of the old woman by the well. She understood that laughter and joy were the simplest and most powerful ways to bring people together. Laila dedicated herself to spreading joy throughout the kingdom. She organized storytelling festivals, where people of all ages would gather to share humorous tales, sing songs, and laugh together. Laila herself became a master storyteller, always ready with a new, funny story that would leave her audience in stitches. She also encouraged the people to find joy in their everyday lives, reminding them that even in the most difficult times, a smile or a laugh could lift the spirits. Under Laila's guidance, the kingdom became known as one of the happiest in the world. People came from distant lands to experience the warmth and joy of her festivals. The courtiers and servants in the palace, once burdened by tension and rivalry, now walked together in harmony, their hearts lightened by the constant presence of laughter. Laila was affectionately called the Princess of Joy, and her infectious spirit of happiness and love for her people became her lasting legacy. The kingdom's golden age. As the years passed, King Cedric grew older, but he knew that his kingdom was in good hands. His three daughters, once foolish and self-absorbed, had become wise, compassionate, and capable leaders. Together, they ruled the kingdom with grace, wisdom, and love. The people flourished under their rule, and the kingdom entered a golden age of peace and prosperity. The royal palace, once a place of vanity, indulgence, and distraction, had become a center of generosity, balance, and joy. Eliza, Isla, and Laila continued to learn and grow, always seeking new ways to improve the lives of their people. They never forgot the lessons their father had taught them, and they worked tirelessly to ensure that their kingdom was a place where all could thrive. As for the old woman by the well, some said she was a fairy or a wise enchantress sent to guide the princesses on their journey to wisdom. Others believed she was simply a kind and wise elder who had seen much in her long life. But no matter her true identity, the lesson she had given Laila, that laughter is one of the greatest gifts, remained a cherished truth in the kingdom. And so, the three princesses, once foolish but now wise, ruled their kingdom with love and laughter, bringing joy to all who lived there. Their legacy lived on in the heart of their people, and their story was told for generations, a reminder that true happiness is not found in riches or indulgence, but in kindness, balance, and the simple moments of shared joy. And they all lived happily ever after.